Hey folks, today is Friday, October 31st, 2025. As usual, my name is Jake Baldino. Happy Halloween. It's me, Geralt of Rivia from The Witcher 2. Let's talk about everything going on in the gaming news world this week. A bunch of stuff. The first thing is Mindseye is back. Yes, Mindseye has returned, much to the detriment of my sanity. Here it is. Check it out. This is the newest Mindseye update, which essentially brings a bunch of new content under the banner Arcadia. This is now like a separate launcher in the game where you're able to access all these different little modes. There's kind of like a Halloween mystery mode, some new chases, new shootout sequences. Oddly enough, the game took out the free roam mode that was in there. The free roam mode wasn't much to write home about, but now you have all this new extra content to play through with the developers guaranteeing still that there is even more coming. Look, I very strongly feel with Mindseye at this point, it's kind of like the Simpsons meme, like, stop kicking him, he's already dead. But yeah, I don't know. Is this exciting for people? I don't know. If you bought the game and it's the one game you bought for the whole month and you're hoping it gets a little better, now you got some new stuff to play. The whole Arcadia thing, I guess, is now like a newer branding of the player-created content as well on PC. So there's that if you want. But ultimately, I think with all these mechanics, the races, the shootouts and stuff, it still boils down the core problem for me is that the third-person shooting and driving just wasn't very fun. As a character, you can like run and shoot and take cover, and that's it. There's really not a lot to it. So have fun if you want. At the very least, I'm happy to see that they are taking advantage of the world they created. The world was surprisingly detailed and actually felt like a very good like alternate history Las Vegas type place. So at least they're utilizing that world that they built out, but I have no interest in Mindseye anymore. I think the damage was done with that one. But hey, there's got to be one of you out there that's like, oh boy, finally a fresh update. Maybe they're going to fix the game. I think the game is too far beyond fixing like something like a Cyberpunk or a No Man's Sky, but I've been proven wrong before. But if you're jumping into these new modes, let me know. I mean that. Like, if anyone speaks up, like, don't dunk on them on the comments. Like, I want to hear their perspective on this. Next up, some bummer news. Amazon Games suffering some big, significant layoffs, laying off development teams specifically around New World, Eternum. New World, of course, as you know, was Amazon's big push into video games, one of their first things that had a lot of backing, a lot of funding, a lot of developers behind it, and it was a fairly quality MMO, if nothing super special. I thought it was all right with what I played, but they have announced that they are now ceasing development on that soon. They said servers are going to stay up for 2026, and they're going to give advance notice to when things eventually finally do shut down. But the MMO, even making an MMO just feels ambitious at this point because you're going up against juggernauts like Final Fantasy and World of Warcraft, which I feel like those audiences are pretty hunkered down for the long term. But yeah, New World is no longer going to be a thing. That's unfortunate. But the other thing is Amazon's other canceled project, a Lord of the Rings MMO. This comes out from some developers that got laid off saying that's what they were working on. And apparently, according to some developers, quote, y'all were going to like it or love it. That's a bummer because I feel like if there's one world that still has the potential for a good MMO and where people want to live, it is Middle-earth. I do think that like there's potential for game worlds like established IP to do well with MMOs. People want to live in these worlds. I want to live in Middle-earth. I also want to live on like Arrakis and Dune Awakening. It seems like that did fairly well. That's, you know, more of like an MMO survival type game, but still, it's tough out there, man. If something like Lord of the Rings can't hack it, I don't know, not to get all gloom and doom, but I'm like, damn, come on, man. Anyway, there's always possibility for new Lord of the Rings things. We talk about it a lot because of like the way the rights are and different places and stuff like that. But for now, that's the current state of Amazon Games. You know, it's like every big company, every big corporation, even if they're not connected to gaming, they want a piece of that gaming pie because it looks awesome. It looks sweet. Gamers are the best. But then once they get down to it, seems like it's pretty hard to make a game. Next up, let's talk about the sponsor of this video. It's the fall, it's October here, things are changing very quickly, and you gotta be ready for anything. Versatility is key, and with a shoe like our sponsor, Vessi, on your feet, you're covered and prepared for anything. Vessi are comfortable, dependable, waterproof sneakers that we've been recommending for a long time now, and they're 100% waterproof, which comes in absolutely clutch right now. Like I always say, they got shapes, colors, varieties for every person, every situation, but you gotta check out the Stormburst. I have a pair of Stormburst high tops right here. They also come in low, and this is essentially the go anywhere, do anything shoe. 2. Because again, they're 100% waterproof like all Vesi's products. It's great. It keeps your feet dry. You have the freedom. You don't have to worry about stepping in mud or puddles. But with the Stormburst, you have like an extra grippy sole. So you really don't have to worry about slipping. These things have a lot of grip. Whether you're caught in the rain in the city or you're out on a muddy trail, you're set because these things clean so easily. You just wipe them off because, again, they're waterproof. Always prepared. Also, if you didn't know, you get a 1-year warranty on your shoes as well as 30-day worry-free returns. So it's a no-brainer to check these out. If you want to, click the link in the description down below or head to vesi.com/gameranx. There, you can get 15% off your first purchase. Get a pair of the Stormburst. They're extremely grippy, waterproof, great for anything. Again, at vesi.com/gameranx for 15% off your first pair. Check them out, and big thanks to Vesi for sponsoring this video. Now back to the news. Next up, check this out. Hideo Kojima's Matrix game. Just like the possibilities of like a what if. Could you even imagine? I literally can't, but this comes after headlines that a former Konami executive did an interview saying that they were approached by the Wachowskis in like the very early 2000s, hot off the first Matrix movie, to make a Matrix game. It's specifically maybe something with like Hideo Kojima. And according to him, Konami was just like, no, sorry, thanks, which feels like the disconnected Konami we knew from the olden days. But with that, Hideo Kojima has actually come out himself and said he hadn't heard of this. He said specifically, I haven't heard of any like Wachowskis and Matrix people approaching Konami to make a game with him. And in the ultimate flex, while also debunking a rumor, he said, I've hung out with and met the Wachowskis a bunch of times. And he literally went and detailed all the times that he hung out with the Wachowskis, like right after the Matrix. And he said at that point, you know, even Joel Silver, the producer of the original Matrix, meeting all of them, he said nothing ever came up with the possibility of him making a Matrix game. He said he was very much in the throes of making Metal Gear Solid 2 at the time, so it wouldn't have happened anyway. But could you imagine a Hideo Kojima Matrix game? I mean, Metal Gear Solid The Twin Snakes, in a lot of ways, obviously, like, he didn't completely direct that, but that has a lot of Matrix influences because every other scene is like slow motion. It's very of the time. Look, we have a complicated history with Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes as Metal Gear fans. I digress, but damn, a Hideo Kojima Matrix game could have been cool. A game set in the world of the Matrix as interpreted by Hideo Kojima, that could have been fun. Think about all those other fun things like the Animatrix, right? The Animatrix was awesome. Now imagine Kojima got his hands on something like that. There's still so much potential for the world of the Matrix, and it's just been squandered, and I'm pissed. Also, in case you missed it, rumors from back a couple of months ago that Bluepoint was working on a God of War multiplayer game, like a God of War live service game. That was reported by Bloomberg that was ultimately shit-canned or canceled, and now we have leaked screenshots of what it could have looked like, at least in terms of environments. It's not very exciting, but essentially these leaked images are environments for this God of War game that was canceled, suggesting a return to Greece. And that's pretty sweet. I would have really enjoyed that. What was this going to be like? You know, because some people out there really did like God of War Ascension's multiplayer on PS3. As much as I dunked on that, a lot of people made fun of that. People dug it. There's always a world for these weird multiplayer games when they make sense, like The Last of Us Factions. But oh no, they canceled that. And now here they canceled this God of War multiplayer thing. You think that's for the better? I don't know. I wish Bluepoint was just working on something other than a live service game. So who knows what they're working on now. But if you wanted to see, you know, I guess what this could have been, here you go. Here are some images. Also, because we do this show on Friday, sometimes we miss big news. And last Friday, we got the announcement of Halo Campaign Evolved. This is a remake of the original Halo campaign. One of the best to ever do it. This is going to be in Unreal Engine 5, and we've gotten a lot of gameplay and a lot of looks at just essentially the silent cartographer level. I've already put out reactions of this on my other channel, youtube.com/Jake Baldino. Check that out if you want, because I'm putting out a Halloween special video today. But yeah, it looks very much like Unreal Engine 5. The graphics look pretty good, though. And there's going to be sprinting, hijacking vehicles, a couple of other like Halo adjustments. Like apparently you're going to be able to pick up the energy swords in Halo 1. That's significant. That's cool here in the campaign. But from what I did see, I actually really liked the new cinematics. Silent Cartographer had a pretty famous like level intro, but it's really simple. And when you look at them side by side, they really amped up like the cinematography and the framing here to make Master Chief look cool as hell. So those updates are welcome. Still, it's going to be divisive, and I know how people are about remakes and reboots and stuff like that. We're just going to have to wait and see, but this is what they're working on right now with Halo. So I'm curious to see what else is going to go down, because like this is just the campaign, no multiplayer. So what's the future of Halo multiplayer? That's a big part of the package. But the other big news with this is that it is coming in 2026, and it is also releasing for PlayStation 5. Yes, you heard it right. Halo is on PS5 in 2026. That essentially means it's over. That's a wrap. We've known Xbox has been putting their exclusives out on other platforms. It's been a thing for a while. Gears of War was a big one. Forza was a big one. But man, Halo is like the final jewel in the crown. And it's just crazy to see how much times have changed. With Microsoft and all their changes, we'll save that for other videos. It's a much bigger, more abstract conversation. But for now, Halo, PlayStation, holy shit. Along with that, it is worth pointing out a little bit more info did come out about Xbox's new console plans. Sarah Bond, Phil Spencer, all those heavy higher ups have teased this before, kind of talking about how the Asus Xbox Ally, Xbox ROG Ally, sorry, stupid name, that handheld essentially is showing where their direction is going, which is essentially a Windows PC with an Xbox overlay, giving you the freedom of accessing Steam, GOG, Epic Game Store, all those places, anti-cheat games, all that stuff, but with an Xbox veneer, kind of obscuring some things. And now Windows Central is reporting that that is going to be the case with this new Xbox console. It is going to be like a niche, kind of higher tier product that is essentially a PC, but when you start it up, it has an Xbox experience, and you can dive out of it only if you really want to. So a console PC, it's been done before. Bazite's doing it pretty well. It's very interesting that Microsoft is going this route. Again, we don't have time to dive like into that in this video, but long story short, things are changing. Microsoft is changing up their strategy, obviously, because they weren't selling hardware. They're pushing more into publishing, but they're still looking to play around in the hardware game, but in different ways. So cool for trying something different. I'm just curious to see how this actually goes down. This isn't confirmed or anything. This is all still kind of, inside sources and stuff. But for now, if you want to read up on it or anything else I talked about this week, all that stuff linked in the description down below. Next up, in terms of games releasing this week, we got some more episodes for Dispatch. This is the new Telltale style superhero game from some of the folks behind the original Telltale studio with this new studio, Ad Hoc Studio. And so far, I've actually been enjoying it. I went in thinking I wasn't really, I didn't know what to think, but I'm looking forward to the next episode. Along with that, Battlefield 6 launched its free-to-play mode. Battlefield Redsec is out. It is Battle Royale Battlefield with all the Battlefield 6 gameplay. The map is absolutely huge. It's a pretty damn good map, but it brings with it all the monetization shit, all the free-to-play, Battle Royale monetization stuff you'd expect. So a lot of players were kind of reacting harshly to that, especially if they owned Battlefield 6 and then they got that added to the game. Steam reviews are kind of all over the place. We did a video talking about it, but I think the main takeaway is that it's still kind of a fun mode. The Battlefield 6 gameplay reigns supreme, so of course it's going to work in a Battle Royale mode. But I'm curious to see like how the Battle Pass, how the monetization, how all that stuff, how the progression stuff all shakes out, over time. And whether or not this will have the legs to stand against the giants that are still like, Fortnite, Apex Legends, all that stuff. Also out now is Power Wash Simulator 2. You might laugh, but I gotta be honest, I played the original Power Wash Simulator and I was surprised how much it sucked me in. That's a weird turn of phrase for that. Yeah, man, the original game was cool. It had some appeal. It's kind of like a chill out game, good co-op. Maybe if you're playing with a friend online on Discord, it's good to bullshit and just power wash stuff. You'd be surprised. But yeah, that's out now, as well as Square Enix's Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD remake. I am dying to get my hands on this because this looks absolutely beautiful. I would love to visit these games like this. My review schedule is still pretty packed. We've been putting out a lot of before you buy, so keep your eyes peeled for more, including Arc Raiders. Arc Raiders dropped yesterday. I've been playing it nonstop, and I'll have a video out soon, probably today. And so far, I really, really enjoy it. And also, it's out officially this week for everybody, The Outer Worlds 2. Obsidian's next RPG, I think, is much better than Avowed, and I think it kind of improves on the original Outer Worlds in a lot of ways. Before you buy, linked below, and everything linked down below. But most importantly, I want to know what you guys are thinking in the comments about all the news we talked about this week, right? Xbox's console, their new hardware approach, Hideo Kojima making a Matrix game. Can you even imagine? What do you think that's like? Are you jumping back into Mindseye? Honestly, no bits. Okay, it's a safe space here. Let me know if you actually like that game. It's fine. I hated it, but that's fine. Look, let's talk about anything in the gaming news world, anything we talked about in the comments down below. Things get a little crazy. We're down there as much as possible, but if you want to yell at me directly, you can find me on all the social media at Jake Baldino. It's all linked in the description as well. But yeah, that's it. Pinned comment, of course. Let us know what games you're currently playing. Would love to hear if you're playing any games for like the Halloween season. Is there like a Halloween game you play at night? Let us know. Clicking a like button helps. Either way, I've been Siri from The Witcher. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Pizza's on me.